Thank you for all of you who are watching tonight. We also want to thank all veterans, our first responders, our law enforcement agencies, and everyone who has helped during the COVID-19. And my heart goes out to those of you who have lost loved ones during this pandemic. May God bless you all. Also, I want to thank Grassroots for America for sponsoring this event. We are grateful to you for supporting us.
What truly matters is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled by the people.
But thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Constantine. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so sorry that your challenger is not here to speak on his behalf and for himself. So it's great that you're here on your behalf to speak to the voters. It's very important.
So, no, of course not, Mr. Constantine. Thank you so much for your patience. I apologize for any technical difficulties, and we are determined. So you don't have, we had practiced before this, so we were confident that we were going to be able to get through this moment. So let me start again. Tonight is the Seminole County District 3 Republican 2020 primary debate. My name is Sendra Dorcé. I am the host of Sendra TV, and this debate is being hosted by Sendra TV. I am the founder and CEO of Sendra Capital. Thank you for joining us. I want to say thank you to all our first responders in our uniformed services and all those who are fighting the fight during the COVID as healthcare providers. So, Alexandra.
Hi, my name is Alexandra Levine. I am the founder of Potomac Sports and Entertainment Network, as well as the founder of YouAreNoIdiot.com, as well as the former state leader for the America First Coalition. I thank you to everyone who is watching tonight nationwide and worldwide. We also say thank you to our veterans, our first responders, our law enforcement, our firefighters, and everyone that has helped us during COVID-19 and beyond. Thank you to Mr. Constantine tonight for coming on, and we're very excited to share to the American people your plan for your district.
Thank you very much. I also want to say that this event is sponsored by Grassroots for America, and we so appreciate their support. So that said, Mr. Constantine, your opponent, Mr. Ben Paris, declined the opportunity to join us tonight, but we will proceed without him. What's important is that you are here and that people hear you and your message and how you've served this county for until today. So, Alexandra.
So our first set of questions for you, Mr. Constantine, is policy. The primary duty of a county commissioner is to create and implement policy. So these following questions that Sendra and I will ask you tonight is to identify a commissioner's priorities and the methods by which they hope to accomplish your goals. So the first question, what policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Well, I think that Seminole County is very we've had a as everybody's had a very difficult time during this pandemic. Prior to it, our economy was on full gear, going all guns. Everything was blazing. We were having banner years in tourism, in employment, in business opportunities, and then, like everyone else, we have been faced with this crisis. We approached it with a level head, a steady hand, and said, we've got to find ways to help our small businesses, to help, because Seminole County is an area where we have a great deal of small businesses. It is a place where families like to or have invested their future. They want to live here, have our children go to school here, and promote small businesses, build their own personal family lifestyle that makes them feel and makes Seminole County the perfect place for family living and to work and to play. And so when this pandemic occurred, we immediately went into, okay, what can we do to help our businesses, our mom and pop businesses especially, survive this very difficult situation? And we, unlike most county or like the big counties in Seminole County, and I'm going to put a plug in for the census, it's extremely important because Seminole County in the first phase of the CARES Act, all counties of 500,000 and more received dollars. And so the 12 counties in Florida received millions of dollars. In fact, the smallest of those 12 received $94 million. We, because we're the 13th largest county in Florida and had just 19,000 short of 500,000, received nothing. So we had to do it on our own. And we looked around and we said, what can we do? So we immediately put $1.5 million or $1.2 million into helping our small businesses. Now the second phase of the CARES Act came through. We were able to receive $20 million. We put $10 more million into that very, very popular program of helping to keep the doors open of our small businesses throughout Seminole County. We also put $7 million in for those to help them that are less privileged and needed money to help pay for the essentials of life, food, rent. We put $7 million into for that. And then we put an additional $2 million into our very high-rated school system, which is one of our greatest assets we have here in Seminole County, and ensured that they had some additional money to help them in their quest to reopen, put people back into the classroom, put people back to work, and get back to normal as quickly as we possibly can. So we went on the offensive, and I think that it has been very successful in keeping those doors open of our small businesses, which is the backbone of Seminole County's prosperity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And so in the same line of policy, I want to ask you, what part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected?
I'm sorry, the light was shining on me a little bit.
So I can repeat it, sir, no problem. What part of county government would receive more attention if you were elected?
Well, I think that what you're looking at is we have to broaden the perspective as we go down the line. You know, we have to ensure that that this, and we don't create jobs. Government does not create jobs, but we help implement policies that make the job and the economic opportunity more viable. So I think that the formula, if you will, as you go beyond this, is to continue to make the environment, the atmosphere of Seminole County such business friendly for small businesses. Continue to keep our A-rated schools top notch, because that is what brings people that they want to invest their families into Seminole County. And then, of course, also our natural environment. Ensure that people feel good about the quality of life that they have here, that keeps our entire basis of our economy higher, our tax base improving consistently. So those are the things that we have to, as priorities, continue to invest in, continue to move forward so that Seminole County and its citizens are successful.
Thank you. The next question is, do you plan to promote any changes to existing taxes, and if so, why?
I think, you know, one of the things I'm very proud of about Seminole County, and I have to assume that you don't know that much about my past. I've been in the legislature before. I was both a state representative and a state senator. While I was there, I was part of the Republican Revolution that changed the House and the Senate from being Democrat to Republican. And I was part of the largest tax cuts in Florida's history. So I am very much of a fiscal conservative and believe very strongly that it is your money, it is the taxpayers' money, and that we have to spend it judiciously and in the best economic and efficient way that we possibly can. And that's why Seminole County, I think, if you look at our board, I think that most of them, I mean, all of them feel the same way. So if you look at the taxes in Seminole County, we are the lowest in the region for ad valorem taxes. We have the least amount of employees per population, percentage-wise. We have the highest reserves, and we have the best services by far, whether police, fire, all the way water, sewer, of any other county in the region. And we are very proud of that. And in the 8 years that I've been a county commissioner, we have not raised the ad valorem, and I do not see any reason, because we have been very efficient and very effective in our usage of tax dollars. So I don't see where we're going to change that ad valorem this year. We've already been working on the budget, and we're going to have another balanced budget with reserves and again with no tax increase.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And for the next question, are county land use regulations and permitting processes doing enough to assure that the public interest, or are they too onerous?
Well, I would not say there's too onerous. I think that that we have a balance. I think you continue to strive for that balance. Seminole County has, many people don't realize this, but we are the third most populated, densely populated county in the state. We are very small geographically, just north of Orlando, to give you a perspective, and we have 7 very unique, dynamic cities, all middle-sized cities, all along the I-4 corridor, the Interstate 4 corridor. And so we have tried to promote development and infill projects into those cities, into the infrastructure that exists within those cities, while ensuring that we protect what is both beautiful and natural about Seminole County. And one of the things is a lifestyle that the citizens themselves voted to protect and maintain an area on the east side of the county, the rural boundary, which would ensure that we would also maintain that agricultural and rural lifestyle that was part of our culture and part of our history. So we have the 7 cities. We work with them very closely. We promote development within that urban core of those 7 cities and the Seminole County along the I-4 corridor, while trying to protect the lifestyle, the quality of life that we have in Seminole County in the rural boundary. Now, when we talk about efficiency and effectiveness, we have used technology. We were the first county in the area to have electronic permitting, and we continue to have that. We work and promote that with our development community, so that at the same time that we're saying this is where we want you to develop, and we don't want you to develop to promote sprawl in the rural areas, but we're making it very easy, very efficient for them to develop. And by the way, I think that you had my fellow commissioner, Commissioner Dorcé, earlier. Both he and I in that have been endorsed by the builders as well as the realtors of Seminole County, while ensuring that we are protecting the environmental resources of our county, which is known as Central Florida and Florida's natural choice.
So this next question, I'm going to rephrase it a little bit differently than when I did for Mr. Dorcé. So this one focuses on international resources that we use specifically for the trade agreement that former Governor Rick Scott implemented. It's called FIBA, the Florida Israel Business Accelerator. And my question to you is, should the county and the state of Florida continue to work with Israel, our biggest ally, on agriculture, trade, central intelligence, and environmental initiatives?
Well, Israel is one, as you said, is one of our most solid and respected allies. And in the issues of things like water resources, agriculture, and technology, they are a world leader. I am a co-chair of the Florida Conservation Coalition. It's a bipartisan organization that is there to conserve Florida's, beautiful natural resources. And there are so many things that we have worked with and have learned from Israel and other countries. I actually went on a trip just 2 years ago through the European Union on a water. I was one of the 12 Americans invited to do that on water management and water resources. And so clearly it is important that even Seminole County and certainly the state of Florida is working to find new and innovative approaches that are used throughout the international world. And so I am open and am actually excited about the opportunities that we can have when you look at international cooperation.
Thank you. I just want to send a personal note as a Jewish American. I'm very happy that that you addressed this issue. And we do have viewership from Israel that is watching worldwide. So thank you for that.
And I want to tell you, I've seen some of the things that they've done with water and water resources in what you could consider to be a desert country. And I am just so thoroughly impressed, just as I am with what they've done with solar energy and other innovative approaches on alternative energy. The fact of the matter is, we're the Sunshine State, and Israel has more usage in solar energy as than we do, percentage-wise, country-wise. I mean, it's phenomenal what they're doing with the lack of resources, natural resources that they have, and we certainly can learn from them. And I'm full guns to do that.
Thank you so much.
I so appreciate your time, sir. For the next question, I would like to ask you, what do you see as the most pressing need for infrastructure or capital projects in the county?
Well, the county, our citizens are, I am blessed because the constituency that I represent, and one of the things I want you to understand of the Seminole County, unlike many other counties, we are elected countywide. We have districts that we have to live in, but we are elected countywide. So there's almost a half a million people that are our constituents. And when I was a senator in Florida, that was pretty close to the same size of my district. So we have very, very large district just representing the county of Seminole. But the people that I am blessed to represent are keenly aware of the relationship between the quality of life that is given to you, what you have in schools and natural resources and transportation and healthcare to bettering our economy. And so they themselves voted for an additional penny sales tax to improve a Republican-dominated county, to improve the transportation systems, to share that money with the cities for their transportation purposes, and to share that money with the school district so that they could continue to improve their infrastructure and their capital improvements. So we have a very aggressive transportation program. In fact, one of the things when talking about the pandemic that I believe is going to stimulate us as we get out of this system is to promote more and more dollars in infrastructure projects in the county, and using not only that sales tax dollar, but also potentially our very good bond rating that we have to try to stimulate the economy and build more opportunities for infrastructure. As you know, infrastructure projects are not just projects that for the next 5 years. Mostly infrastructure projects are generational. And if you can find, and we have the lowest right now, money is cheaper than it's ever going to be. So to promote and stimulate the economy, to put in projects that are shovel ready and get them out there and start really jump-starting the construction industry, which is in one of the pillars of Florida's economy. I think that would be a great opportunity to really get people back to work, and at the same time giving us infrastructure projects that are generational.
So we're going to expand on that question a little bit more with the next one. So the next one is, should the county be encouraging more building and development, specifically in the urban communities in your county?
Yeah, well, like we talked about, I mean, there is a balance, and that balance is, in Florida especially, our economy is based upon growth. People will say a pillar is tourism, a pillar is construction, but it's growth. But it's got to be growth that is managed properly, because there's nobody from Washington, D.C. or Illinois or Pennsylvania that are going to leave their families, leave their job, leave the security of their home and move to Florida for strip centers. People move to Florida because of the idea of Florida, because of the beauty of Florida, because of the natural resources. So our economy and our environment are tied together. And if we don't, look at the ways to promote and protect that quality of life, that environmental idea of you may not live on a lake in Florida, but you live near a lake or a river or the ocean that you can go in and be part of. So we have to have that balance. And yes, we're always looking at great opportunities for development in the urban regions of the county, along the I-4 corridor, in infill projects up and down our 7 beautiful cities where the infrastructure is there, the water, the sewer, the transportation, and at the same time protect the natural resources by ensuring that we are not overburdening our water supply, overburdening our beautiful natural resources, so that there are still those areas, those beautiful areas that Floridians love to say, this is my home, and and send you back the pictures from up north of them sitting in a cabana with a cold adult beverage and saying, wouldn't you love to live here? That is our biggest economic stimulator right there.
Thank you. I just want to say, on a personal note, my parents are from the Washington, D.C. area. They moved down to Florida 40 years ago, and they've never looked back. It's paradise, as my father says it.
So you are exactly what I just said, what we're looking for, where we want people to come home. Come home. This is their home. This is their new home. I love to say that I'm one of the very few people that served in the legislature that actually was from here. I was raised in Seminole County. I went to Seminole County schools. I went to the University of Central Florida. And so many of my colleagues in the legislature came from somewhere else. We welcome them as Floridians, but it is a real and rare privilege to serve the people that you grew up with. And in Seminole County, we do have a beautiful, unique lifestyle, and I love to sell that postcard all the time, because we want people to want to be here and invest their families in our beautiful community.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. And for the next question, just want to ask you, should county commissioners write and adopt specific policies, or should the details of these policies be crafted and implemented by boards, commission, and outside specialists? So in essence, should you outsource these tasks, or should you keep them in-house and as a commissioner be significant crafter of these policies?
We are a board of directors. I am not the CEO of the county. My job is to be a board of director of a very large corporation. Our budget is nearly $1 billion. Wow. There is no way that I, as an individual or collectively as a commission, can oversee, nor should we have our fingers in all the pies. Our job is to hire the right people, promote the right people, put the right citizens in the right boards so that we get solid recommendations from people that are also invested in our community, and then make the best decisions we can, and using the vision that we have to promote the very best future for our county. So I look at myself not as a CEO, but as a board of director. And so, yes, my job is to promote, is to invest, is to find the right people, both from citizens on boards and recommendation boards, as well as staff, to make those recommendations and promote creativity with them. One of the things I felt was lacking in this county when I came here from the legislature was that there was too much vote counting and by the staff. And I was mayor of a small city, not small anymore, but the city of Altamont Springs, which is a very innovative city here in Seminole County, before I went to the legislature. And we promoted creativity. We promoted out-of-the-box thinking. To this day, Altamont Springs is still well known throughout the area, throughout the nation, as a very innovative city. And I felt that this was a very, very good cultural change that we needed to make in Seminole County. Give our employees the ability to use their knowledge and their creativity to the very best opportunities for our citizens. So that's what I see as my job, and that's what I promote every single day, that culture.
So our next portion of questions is budgeting, because that is the second important duty of county commissioner, is to construct, approve, and implement a budget. So these next set of questions is to establish your experience with budgeting and your stance on issues that may arise during the budgeting process. So the first question is, what is your experience with preparing or authorizing budgets?
Well, one of the things I'm most proud of is, although I've been an elected official and a public servant for many, many years, I've also maintained a full-time position, either my own company or working for somebody else. So that was always my main source of income. So in the private sector, I have done numerous budgets that I promoted, but but we're talking right now in the public sector. I was on the Appropriations Committee in the legislature of Florida for many, many years. I served as we cut the budget, we cut the taxes, the highest tax cuts ever. At the same time, Florida maintained the best bonding rate of any large state in the nation. We have a AAA rated bonding in the state of Florida. We have a balanced budget. Every year we're required to have a balanced budget by the Constitution. And we also have some of the highest reserves, and our retirement system. And you might know this, coming, both of you I think are from the north. We have a balanced budget for the retirement system. It's fully funded, our retirement system. So Florida is in a very unique position when you're looking at large states. Now, I've taken that knowledge and put it into the county. In the 8 years I've been with the county, we have never increased the ad valorem tax. We have the lowest ad valorem taxes in the region, and at the same time, arguably the best services, fire, water, sewer, sheriff's office in the region. We have the lowest percentage of employees to citizens in the region. And even our water and sewer rates have been going at a 3% rate increase every year, where, give you an example, the city commissioner that's running against me right now, his city increased their water and sewer rate last year 8%, and have an ad valorem of a full mill higher than the county. So, you know, I think that what we have done in Seminole County, what our budgetary process has been great. I give a lot of credit to the people that came before me, but I also believe that the commission today has seen, you know, a long-term opportunity to keep our reserves high, our ad valorem low, and our taxes low, ad valorem taxes low, and at the same time maintaining very efficient ratio of citizens to employees.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Constantine. And on the topic of budgets, I'd like to ask you, what are your views on the county's current level of public debt and the amount of leveraging that you have?
Well, our debt is low and our bonding rate is high. And those are two good things, because as I've indicated to you before, I do believe that there's opportunities that if we have shovel-ready projects, to get those shovel-ready projects out right now and stimulate the economy as we come out of this pandemic. But at the same time, we were facing, because of lower tourist dollars that were coming in, tourist development dollars, lower sales tax dollars that were coming in that were shared by the state with the counties. We were facing a $19 million deficit for this next upcoming fiscal year. So this county commission took the bull by the horns, and before we even knew the extent of what we were dealing with, we started taking measures such as unfunding some of the positions that were vacant at the time, keeping budgets of each one of our departments flat, deferring some purchases in our fleet, deferring some purchases in facilities, not the ones that we have to do, but the ones that were, you know, more desirable than we would like to do, but we understood in this economy we had to cut back. And then we also stopped salary increases completely. Now, I am very proud of our employees, and I believe, treat them extremely well. We have a very good healthcare system. We are part of the Florida retirement system. We have done a study just last year and increased a number of those the positions that were underfunded, so that we would have retention rate, because as we all know, retention rates, or the lack of keeping people, cost taxpayers money too. But at the same time, I think all of our citizens realize, and all of our employees realize, we're in a difficult situation. And so we have asked our employees, we have given you raises over the last number of years. This is 1 year. Until we know where we are and what we are doing, we need to be very cautious, very careful. And so we have decided to give 0 increases in rates, except in our public safety, which is our #1 responsibility. Both the sheriff's department and the fire department will receive increases in rates or increases in their salaries. But the rest of the employees have taken it, understand. We're all very happy to have jobs right now and working for the betterment of our citizens. So we have just zeroed out that $19 million deficit we were facing. We now again have a balanced budget, not even into reserve. And understand, with the pandemic and in hurricane season here in Florida, you better have those reserves, because if you don't and you're hit with a catastrophe, of major proportion, like we have done in the past with hurricanes, that we have the money to maintain it. Because as you probably know, FEMA usually takes 5 or more years to pay you back on some of these emergencies.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. Our next question, still with budgets, is if new resources were available, what one area of county services would you feel most needs additional resources?
Well, I think when you look at the long-term desirability of living here in Seminole County and Central Florida, you have to look at a number of things to be first prepared for it. We want to maintain the best quality of public safety that we possibly can, and that is also an investment, because the higher that you have a rating for your fire safety, the less you're going to cost the taxpayers in homeowners insurance. And I give you an example, to improve our rating, I would spend money to save more money for our taxpayers, for our citizens in their homeowners insurance. So we have concentrated on public safety a great deal. I do believe that right now we really have to look, and I am so proud of our emergency preparedness and what they have done in this pandemic, in this crisis. And I think that as we continue to see more and more problems creep up, such as hurricanes and everything, we have to have that department even more prepared for the future. And then I think that we really need to look at improvement in our water quality. We have to start building additional infrastructure in our water and sewer, and in our wastewater, and protecting our water resources, because that is, in the long term, the #1 issue in Florida is clean, potable water.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Constantine. And I would like to continue on that note. Should any part of the county's budget be shielded from cuts? And if so, which area do you feel they should be cut in?
Well, as I told you, I think that public safety is our #1 responsibility as elected officials, as public servants. And so therefore, we have shielded, not what should we shield, we have shielded the police and fire. You want our citizens to feel that they're safe. You want to know that ambulance is going to be at the ALF, adult congregate living facility, when it's needed. You want to ensure that when you pick up the phone, call for the police department to be there because of an emergency, that they're there. And you want the highest quality of individuals there. So we have been very careful, as we have cut our budget, that we ensured that we stayed very cautious and careful about maintaining that public safety programs. So that's where I think that we should always be the last place we look for cuts, and we have done that. As far as where we can cut, I think that it's more in the opportunity of technology. I think we have seen some real opportunities as we have worked through this crisis, where I don't think we need as many brick and mortar buildings in the county. So as we look to the future, and we look to how we're going to invest in that future, I think that we need to look at more innovative approaches in the technology area, so that we can reduce the cost. Because let's be frank,
Sure.
Salaries are the #1 cost of any governmental program or any government. But the second is the capital buildings and the energy costs in those capital buildings. If we can reduce both of those, that is where more and more efficiency will take place. And I think our citizens, our employees have proven that they can work at a highly productive and efficient manner during this pandemic, that we can take those opportunities and put them in the day-to-day as we get over this whole process.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So the next question is, what element of the county's government is most effective and why?
I firmly do believe, unlike many other places in the country, our crime level has gone down dramatically, not just during this COVID-19, but during a year after year after year in Seminole County, our crime rate has gone down. So I have to give a great deal of compliments to our sheriff department, and not the over the heavy hand of policing, but the outreach programs that we do. Seminole County, whether it be the sheriff's office, the firefighters, the water department, the health department, we have a tremendous outreach program to our citizens, working with our 7 dynamic and beautiful cities. And truly, I think that in itself is the most efficient what we do. The way we have an outreach, some people would call it communications and citizen participation, but truly, I think that our citizens believe that they are invested in this community, and much of it is because of the outreach programs that we and our cities provide.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And on the last question for this category is, are Seminole County taxes too high, about right, or pleasantly low? Where would you rank us tax-wise?
Well, as I said earlier, we have the lowest ad valorem tax cumulative in the region. And that isn't, a small difference. It's a large difference. It's almost 2 mills when you add everything together, the fire, the schools, 2 mills lower than our regional partners. And that's significant. As I said, we are doing more with less. We have 4 employees per 1,000 population. That is by far the lowest in the region. And at the same time, and again, arguably, and you can ask our citizens, we feel that we have the best services provided. So I think that we are efficient, effective. I think that our taxes are where they should be. And when we do see something that needs improvement, I think that I and my fellow commissioners are willing to invest in that process, just like we did with the fire department a few years ago, and invested to bring our homeowners insurance down by investing in more improvements in our fire department, putting in two new stations and renovating a 3rd, so that our citizens felt safer, in their homes. And so, but at the same time, because of that, we were able to reduce the homeowners insurance for our citizens, actually saving them money as opposed to the dollars that we increased in improving the services. So there's an investment part of that you're willing to do. You never can say that you're fully efficient. There's always opportunities. I gave you an example last with the technology, in the previous question with the technology. So we're always striving to improve our efficiency. But I think that right now, Seminole County's citizens would tell you that they're getting a good bang for their buck.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Well, the final portion of our questions is management. So county commissioners are also responsible for the county's workforce. So we have a few questions that inquire your views about staffing priorities and public administration in general. So this question is actually 2 parts. So the first question is, What do you think is an appropriate ratio of local government employees to constituents? And then the second question is, when managing public agencies, is it better to have more employees at a modest wage or few employees at a wage high enough to attract quality applicants?
Well, we've talked already about, and thank you for the question. That's the two-part question. It's always difficult. You want to make sure that you answer both of them.
Take your time.
I'm fine. I got to tell you, we've talked about this, I think, already 3 times today. I think that, we have the lowest ratio. And I love to say this because it's true. We have the lowest ratio of citizens to employees in the region. I think it's 4 per 1,000. I think it may be 4.1 per 1,000. I mean, that's incredible if you think about it in the government. And at the same time, our efficiencies are so high that people truly believe that we have, and I argue that we have the best services in the region. So, so I think that we've hit the right number. I think that we have hit the right number as far as employees to citizens. Now, I believe that people deserve a good living wage. And I think that you're going to get more. Our job, again, as I talked to you earlier, is being the board of directors. And that means hiring the best person for each job, knowing what their job is, and having a county manager that is effectively the CEO of the county, and that county manager knowing the opportunities, the advantages, the disadvantages of their employees, putting the right person in the right place to do the job. We did do an employee survey, employee income survey last year to find out where we were in relation to the other counties and other governmental entities around. And I was proud to say that we were well within the margin of error in almost every case. Those that we weren't, we increased, because it's important that when you have the right person, you don't want to lose them due to attrition or due to recruitment from someplace else. You want to keep the best employees doing the job that they can. And as I told you, my priority of innovating more creativity and a culture that requires highly efficient and effective managers and employees. So I feel very strongly that it's important to pay your employees a good wage, and at the same time, you're not overpaying people, or you're not just putting more people in to do a job that that can be done with less people if you put the right people in the right positions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So another question on the topic of management is, will you require county employees to pay the union as a condition of their employment? What are your views on that?
I had a hard time hearing you. Would you say that? Repeat the question, please.
Let me move up. Maybe I'm just too far away from the mic. It is, will you require county employees to pay the union as a condition of their employment?
The Seminole County only has one division of our county that is union, and that is our fire department. And so that is the only one that we have, the negotiations with. We don't require our employees to join a union, but we also do not, we don't tell them that they can't either. The firefighters, well before I got there, had unionized in Seminole County. The other departments, including the sheriff's department, does not and is not part of the union. So we are, I think, in one case, is very, very fortunate that that is the case. But with the fact that we have a very good relationship with our firefighters union. In fact, the firefighters, firefighters union endorsed me also for this, and we work with them very well. We try to maintain the best firefighting department that we possibly can, and I think that we have taken steps to improve their conditions recently. So, you know, I think we're in a very good situation of the majority of our employees are not union, but the one union we have with the firefighters, we have a very good relationship with them.
So our final question is, would citizens get more effective services at a better rate if more functions of the county were accomplished by contracting with private providers?
You know, that's a question that I've really worked on, and thank you for it. That was a question that I you know, tackled when I was in the legislature also. And there's one of the things I found, when you privatize certain aspects of government, you maybe get an immediate cost savings, but as it goes on, the costs are more and more, and the services have not kept up. And I'll give you an example. We did some privatization of some of our jail systems in the state when I was in the legislature during Jeb Bush's administration. And we were all very excited about the opportunities and the cost savings. But as it went along, it actually started to become more and more expensive to the point that it wasn't competitive with us, with our own employees. So there are opportunities, but I'll give you another example. We explored last year privatizing our library system, and there were some potential cost savings, but at the same time, our citizens overwhelmingly were opposed to privatizing that because they felt that that would not give them the services that they had become accustomed to. However, when I was in the city of Altamont Springs prior to the legislature and now as a county commissioner, one of the things I'm very proud of is the city of Altamont Springs was the first city to go to Seminole County and consolidate our fire services. We today just added Castleberry, another of our 7 cities, to that consolidated fire system. So at the present time, we have 3 cities of the 7 that are in with the firefighters, with our Seminole County's fire department. So there are opportunities of consolidation, of cooperation. We also have a great deal of public-private partnerships where we have worked with the business community on improving our permitting process, our business plans, and other things like that. So yes, there are opportunities for private-public partnerships. There are opportunities for consolidation, but there are also concerns that it isn't a short-term gain for a long-term loss. And you have to be very careful about that to ensure that you protect the quality of life for the citizens that you represent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Constantine. We so appreciate it. We just have one final question, and that's from the audience. And the question is, what is your priority to move this county forward? I know you talked a little bit about this, but I think after listening, the audience wanted you to expand on that.
Well, I think that we have the opportunity to be the best county in the state. We are unique in Seminole County. We are not a coastal county. We are, you know, we are in the middle of the state. But so saying that, a lot of people would say, well, you're not on the coast. Exactly. We can get to either coast within an hour and a half. So we have the best of both worlds in Seminole County. And we are strategically located. For our geography is not south and is not north. And many of you know that Florida has very different regions, both economically, diversity, and such. So we have the best of everything right here in Seminole County. And so I see a vision for us that really puts us at the top of the food chain of all the counties. I was very proud that my fellow county commissioners from around the state elected me the future president of the Florida Association of Counties. And because one of the reasons is I articulated a vision where counties have the opportunity to invest in their future and really bring a coordinated effort of economic development, education, and environment together, moving in the same direction, where your citizens are proud to live in that community and want to bring the others that, like your parents that moved 40 years ago down here, grandparents down here, and say, you want to move here, you want to live here with us because we've got a unique lifestyle and we want to share it with everyone. And so that culture of a vision of Seminole County being able to move forward and be the leader in environment and water quality and natural resources, be the leader in education, be the leader in small business and for that matter, middle business and large business growth, and not having to worry about those, tourism as being the number one. We don't need tourism to be successful. It's a complement and it's an opportunity, and we want to invest in that, but we don't need it to be the successful county. We want to go beyond that and go a broad base of a cultural change of being a creative and innovative county that everybody would be proud of, both that live here as well as being the envy of counties, the rest of the counties in Florida.
Well said, sir. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you on behalf of Seminole County Debates and on behalf of Seminole County voters. Thank you, sir, for your service and your candidacy and in the 2020 primary has been noted. We appreciate you spending time with us. I want to say that thank you to Grassroots for America for sponsoring this event. I also want to say that we are committed to providing profound insights through these debates as we move forward toward the primary. It is important that you cast your vote as a part of this effort to move this country forward. It is up to the voters as we continue to count days toward the primary and the general. So I want to say thank you for allowing us to host this event on Sendra TV. Alexandra?
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Constantine, for coming on. I wish your primary opponent would have come on, but you came on to represent yourself well, and good luck to you in your election. And we thank everyone who is watching nationwide and worldwide. And please don't forget to vote August 18th and demand paper ballots all the way. Mail-in ballots equal fraud, and it's just a way to get rid of our free and fair elections. And I want to say on behalf of Potomac Sports and Entertainment Network and youarenoidiot.com, the reason that you watch and the reason that you listen is you are no idiot. And Mr. Constantine, how can we find you? What is your social media?
Thank you for the opportunity to be part of. If anybody wants to look at and research my any more information, they can go to my web, Lee Constantine, the number 4 Seminole, Lee Constantine 4 Seminole, and you can find out all the information that we talked about today, but also how to get involved in my campaign. Just as a side note, I want to tell you, when I was in the Senate, one of the chairs that I had was elections, ethics and elections, and I was put in charge after the 2000 election, which we all know what that was here in Florida. And I was very fortunate as chairman to be back with a bipartisan committee. My vice chairman was Democrat, and we brought back paper ballots and new technology 2 elections in Florida. So we are now still under the bill that I passed back in the mid 2000s, and those with the new technologies that we are provided. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and I hope that that you share this with the citizens of Seminole County. I am also, it's unfortunate that my opponent decided not to skip this, but I can tell you that I will take every opportunity I can to get out and reach the voters of Seminole County.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And again, your voice matters, your choice matters, and your vote matters. Here at Seminole County Debates, we understand that. So till the next time, have a good evening, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you.
For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. That all changes starting right here and right now.
Thanks for joining us on Sendra TV. Please subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when a new episode is uploaded. Also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and we definitely appreciate you being part of this community.